Today in the shop, we got my grandpa's 2013 Chevy truck, and it's got no oil pressure, or at least the dash says so. Linking this here dipstick and looking at her, I don't see any sparkles in that. So it tells me it probably didn't lose oil pressure. If this engine had lost oil pressure while it was running, he was driving down the road and said he had 2 more miles to go, and he called me, "Hey, my truck says no oil pressure, stop engine immediately." And I said, "Shut it off right now." He said, no, I'm almost there. I've only got 2 more miles up the road. He proceeded to drive it the rest of the way. I said, it's gonna lock up if it's got no oil pressure. Could be just a sensor, but if it's not, you're gonna sell that truck for 500 bucks when the motor blows up. He drove it anyways. And then he said he started it later, and it had oil pressure for a little bit, but it shut off. It'd go bad after a bit, so we're gonna find out right now. If it didn't have oil pressure, it'd be knocking terrible. It's got oil pressure now. It's got 20 pounds at idle now that it's warmed up a little bit. It's not even totally hot, but that's low. And we don't have the tools we need to get the electricals undone. So we're setting up the podcast stuff. Got our camera, it's mint. 2 mics. We'll see how it goes. Not end up touching the truck with no oil pressure. Really, we couldn't get a plug unplugged. I gotta pull the manifold tomorrow to do it, and that's a bunch of work. And I'm gonna record a podcast with all of my grandparents, and the point is to document their life, who they are, a piece of their personality, so that my kids one day can know more about them than I know about my grandparents. My great-grandparents all died when I was super young. I have no memory of all but one, really, or 2 of the grandmothers. And so, I'd kind of like to know. And so I think my kids might someday, and I think it'll be cool. So that's the intention. We had to record our first podcast. It was rough and random. Whatever, I'll put it on the internet.